Good afternoon and welcome everyone to Pasadena Public Library's Authors and Their Journey series. We are delighted to be able to welcome today Kelly Chang Rickert with her two books, Mom and Dad Explaining Divorce to Young Children and Hope's Broken Snow Globe. Obviously, these books are written for young children to help with divorce. How do we tell the kids we're getting a divorce? Divorce is very tough on children. Two Adventures with Mom and Dad introduces the concept of divorce and separation. The book is designed for separating parents to read to their young children. Kelly has donated these books to the Pasadena Library. We have copies of the two books in the library available for you to check out. And she'll actually tell you how you can purchase your own copies so you can have them as well. Kelly is a certified family law specialist, certified by the California State Board of Legal Specialization, and she knows family matters. For over 20 years, she has exclusively handled divorce and paternity cases involving child custody and complex property division. She's authored several books and articles published by the New York Times, Forbes, Wall Street Journal, Money Magazine, Self Magazine, People Magazine, Star Magazine, and many others. She routinely appears as a family law expert on TV and radio to comment on various family law and custody issues and celebratory cases such as Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, Tom Cruise, Katie Holmes, and many, many more. She has expanded her law practice to include mediation services. She's a member of many groups, and she volunteers as the daily settlement officer and judge pro tem in family law courts. She's married. She's a husband of 13 years, two children. She loves to take walks. And she has a blog on her website, and we need to find out how long she's been writing because these books are so engaging. I have a copy of both of them here as well, and you can see the lovely cover of Mom and Dad Explaining Divorce to Young Children behind Kelly. So welcome, Kelly. Please tell us about your book, and thank you for coming today.
Thank you for having me, Christine. So the name of my book is Two Adventures with Mom and Dad Explaining Divorce to Young Children. And I've been a family law attorney now for 23 something years. And, as long as I could remember, I've always wanted to write a book helping children understand the foreign concepts of divorce and separation. As a kid, you have mom and dad, right? And so when a family splits up, I think it's just the saddest thing for the kids. When I handle clients, I usually work with the parents, so I never get a chance to talk to the kids. And so basically, this was kind of a passion project that I finally, during COVID, had the chance to write. So I initially had emailed a bunch of traditional publication companies, but none of them were interested. And so I ended up writing. I had a friend illustrate it, and then I ended up self-publishing the book under an imprint. So the name of my publication company is Quarantine Publications.
So tell us about how did you find Quarantine Publications, and how did the publishing process work?
So Quarantine Publications is my publication company. The reason I named it that was because it was conceived during quarantine. So during that time, I did a lot of research about self-publication. And so then I kind of taught myself everything about how to publish. So I used Amazon. Amazon has a publishing department. It's called KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing. But I also publish these books using a service called Ingram Sparks. It's a print-on-demand service that also offers distribution.
So you wrote the book, but it has such beautiful illustrations in it. So since it's a children's book, you had to find an illustrator as well. So
Yes,
so you wrote the story first of all, and then you went out to try to find an illustrator.
that's right.
And how did you find your illustrator? Did you interview a lot of illustrators or give her a sample of what you wanted?
No, so I went to a writers conference in Hawaii, and there I met this wonderful girl named Tanya, who we kept in touch. And so I think it was a year later when I decided I was going to write this book, I contacted her and she said, great, it's a great idea. So she agreed to do it. Um, and she's great.
Okay, so you were telling me that she actually hand draws these illustrations versus
Yes.
someone doing it on graphics or on a
Yes.
computer. So you can see the illustrations here. I'll hold them up to everybody and you can see them. They are lovely, and actually as a child who cannot read, it gives a lot of information to them. They can pick out and get the general gist of what the story is about.
Yeah. I actually think the book is perfect for ages 2 to 8. That's like the perfect age range. The pictures are so beautifully drawn that you can pick out some of the words, but you can tell from the pictures what the story is. And I love Tanya's drawings. She is an artist and she hand draws the characters. That was the difference between her. I also interviewed several illustrators on this Facebook group. However, a lot of them use computer generated graphics. And the difference between a hand-drawn graphic and a computer-generated graphic to me is just it's very clear. The computer-generated ones are just not as creative or beautiful. So, if you can show some of the pictures, they're just so beautiful.
Okay, well, your pictures are, you can see this one here. Everybody, the children will get 2 sets of Christmas presents. So that's a part that maybe makes children feel that maybe divorce is a little bit better. Get two presents versus maybe 1 present. So
Yeah.
So have you written them for a long time as a child? Did you start writing or as a child?
I remember when I was a child, I wrote like a novel it was about stepping on cracks and breaking a mother's back.
Oh,
And like, I remember writing like a little short, it was like a novella. And then in college, I was an English major at UCLA. So I did a lot of writing because I was an English literature major. And then thereafter I went to law school, but law school is the opposite of creative writing. So writing briefs is very clean, very dry. It's law, application of law. So it was like all my creative juices just got completely stifled by the practice of law. And so it wasn't until, quarantine, when the world shut down, that I finally was able to pursue my creative passion. So 2 Adventures with Mom and Dad it was my passion project, and I was able to finish it during quarantine.
well, that was something good that came out of that quarantine with
Yes.
the terrible pandemic. So
Yes.
how long did it take you to write it? Did you had the idea in your mind? Obviously.
Yes. So it only took I always tell people this, it only took 20 years to think about it and then 2 days to write it.
Oh,
So I procrastinated for 20 years because I've always wanted to do this. But when I actually sat down and put pen to paper, it took like 2 days.
okay. And then you reached out to your illustrator and got your illustration done. And then you had to go through the publication process.
Right.
And you started your own publication company.
Right.
So so you have the book, and the book is finished, ready to go. Well, how do you get the book into hands of the public?
Okay. So here's the timeline. So it took me about 2 days to write it. The illustration process took about a year. So so I had this story done like before quarantine. But during quarantine, which lasted like 2 years, Tanya drew it, but it took her quite a while. So I think she got me the first drawings around 9-10 months, but then it took like another 2 months to finish the entire illustration process.
Okay.
And then after that, I had to self-publish. And so self-publishing is a lot of trial and error. And what that means is you have to put it together using a template. I decided to use 8x8, which is a typical children's book, as a square. And so if you publish using Ingram Spark or Amazon, they will have templates for you. So first you have to decide what size your book is going to be. And then once you decide that, you have to upload your illustrations and writings onto the template.
Each page by page.
That's correct. So that part is extremely time consuming. And you make a lot of errors in the process. So like sometimes if you upload something, the margins are off. They have something called the bleed line, because the illustrations, sometimes when they get cut, the bleed gets cut off. So you always have to leave rooms at the margins. And then there's gutters. So there's a lot of like things that you have to learn that are very, very technical when it comes to self-publication.
Wow. Okay. So how you self-taught yourself this, or you found something online that helped you or gave you, or you had a friend that?
Nope. It was like building my law firm and website. I did it by myself with trial and error.
Wow.
And it's funny, nobody ever knows this, but the first cover of Two Adventures was terrible. I had stretched out Tanya's drawings and she was so disappointed because something I did stretched it out. And so I think the first couple of copies sold, but it was not perfect. And then my assistant, who happens to be a graphic designer, helped me create the second cover. But there's a lot of trial and error, because if you look at the first couple of copies of my book, the cover looks totally different. It's not colorful like that. And the dad was stretched out.
Wow.
So yeah, she was really disappointed. She's like, Kelly, I did not draw it. That's not my drawing. I'm like, I know, I don't know what I did. So it was a lot of trial and error.
So when you upload it, can you then print a copy off to see, or you're uploading it actually to Ingram or to Amazon that are going to actually print a copy, or can you order 1 or 2 copies? Is that it?
So when you upload, they will give you like a PDF of the book, but sometimes it doesn't look like that. So they give you an option before you release it to the public to buy a proof.
Oh,
Unfortunately, I didn't buy a proof. I just released it to the public. And so when I finally got my hands on the first couple copies of the book, it was horrible. So yeah, I would say like self-publication is a lot of trial and error. And you should definitely work with an editor, because there's nothing worse than getting a book back and some of your words are cut off, or it's the wrong font, or you have a misspelling, or the pictures are stretched out. So definitely, I would say for anybody that's contemplating self-publication, at least consult with somebody that knows how to do it, because,
and that's your
perfect.
assistant is an editor or knows how to do that?
She's a graphic designer. So she ended up redesigning my book cover.
Oh, redesigning the book cover. So
Yeah.
you worked with an editor, or you really became your own editor?
I became my own editor. I didn't really work with anybody. Just, I was the editor.
And how long did all of this process take?
I would say putting together the book and then finally getting a copy of the book took maybe 3 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, 3 weeks.
Okay, so now you've got your book published and you've got that done and you have this beautiful book in hand. So how do you go about distributing your book and getting it into the public? I know you were very nice that donated it to Pasadena Library. Did you donate it to lots of libraries? Or so tell us about that. Have you had any book events at bookstores?
Yes, so they don't tell you this, but writing a book is actually like 10% of the journey. 90% of the journey is after you write the book. You have to market it. Because you can write a book, but unless you market, no one's going to know about it. So I would say the most successful marketing technique I did with 2 Adventures was social media. At the time that I wrote the book, I had about 400,000 TikTok followers, and roughly 50,000 Instagram followers. So I used my platform to sell a lot of the first book.
Oh, and so then you sold them. So you're actually wrapping them up and going to the post office and mailing them. Is that it? Or did you have somebody that did that for you? I mean, or because you've gone through Ingram or Amazon, they're actually mailing it for you.
They mail it. So
they,
both KDP and Ingram will. So if your book is live on Amazon, you just point people to the link and they can directly order it.
Okay, so you're pointing them to the link. And so which one do you like better? Do you have a preference, or are you on both platforms?
I'm on both. So the difference between publishing on KDP, which is Amazon's publication division, and Ingram Spark is that if you only publish through Amazon, your book only stays on Amazon. So you can't get it anywhere else. I chose to also publish on Ingram Spark. Ingram Spark has huge distribution channels. So through them, I got into Barnes & Noble, Walmart, Kmart, Target. I've seen my book at really small bookstores everywhere. And then you can also check on Ingram where your books are being sold, because they give you like monthly statement of royalties. So my books have sold in Japan, Korea, Switzerland, Ireland. For some reason, it sells a lot of copies in Canada and England. But so it's all over the world. And then there was a small printing company in Korea that printed hundreds of copies of the book.
Whoa,
and the divorce was happening in Korea.
As a family law attorney that helps families and parents with divorce, are you noticing then that you sold so many of these copies? And is divorce common in Korea? I mean, we don't read a lot about any of this in the paper, the statistics for divorce. Are you noticing that it's increasing, or?
I think it is increasing because, I mean, frankly, Satan rules this world right now, and his job is to tear apart families. So unfortunately, I see that divorce is at an all-time high. It always has been, and we will see it increasing as children become more confused about their identities. So yeah, it's very unfortunate. And
right. So I have a copy of your book here, but it doesn't actually say how much it costs. So is it affordable for people to purchase, or what is the cost?
So my paperback is listed at $14.95, and the hardcover. So hardcovers always cost more because the cover is like hard and it's very expensive to publish. The hardcover is $22.99.
Okay, and those are pretty much the standard prices.
Yes, it's standard.
That we have for books. So when you deal with those two different companies, do they take a split of it, or how do you get how are you making a profit from all of this work that you've done?
So Amazon basically, both companies, Ingram and Amazon, are print on demand. And what that means is they only charge you when they print it. So they will Amazon takes 40% of the profit after they charge you for printing. So for example, if the paperback is $14 and it costs Amazon $10 to print, then they will, and the profit's $4, they will take 40% of $4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so
it's the same with Ingram.
You know this going up, so you really need you want to sell lots and lots of books. So how's it been? Of course, during the pandemic, you couldn't go to any bookstores. They weren't having in-house author signings. So have you done some, or are you coming up to do some where people can come and meet you?
Yes. So I did one book signing at Barnes & Noble last year. during Christmas when I was selling my second book, Hope's Broken Snow Globe. And that was about, a child during Christmas who has divorced parents. And obviously the broken snow globe is symbolic of the marriage, and she was trying to repair it. But anyway, so I did that. That was at the Tustin Barnes and Noble. And then next week, I'm going to be at the Grove Barnes and Noble signing Two Adventures with Mom and Dad.
Oh, how wonderful. That'll be nice. So everybody that's listening or in today can go and meet you in person.
Yes.
At the Grove, Barnes and Noble at the Grove. And what time is that?
Oh, I think it's at 11.
Okay, but it'll be on your Facebook page or your TikTok or are you?
Yes, I've kind of been kind of bad about that, but I will get back on social media. I took a break during the holidays, so I haven't done any promotion. But yes, I should get on that immediately because my book signing is next week.
So do you want to tell us a little bit about the book? So Two Adventures with Mom and Dad looks by the cover, it's based on camping and they're out doing things. And then the next one is Hope's Broken Snow Globe is a wonderful Christmas book. So Two Adventures with Mom and Dad was your first one. And so then that went so well. So then you proceeded to write the next one. Right? Yes. And yes. So are you writing a third one or are you making it a series?
Oh, that's a good idea. Well, they say that, don't tell people about your plans until they're done. But, it is my hope that I can publish more children's books and, specifically, like I told you, I want to publish more Christian children's books because I think the world needs more of that.
Right.
So
yes.
It'll be more focused on that. I do have like a soft spot in my heart for the children of divorce. So, probably will do more of that as well.
So these are picture books, and in a little bit you're going to read a part of it and share the story with us. But have you ever thought about writing a book for middle grades or teens?
So that takes a little bit more time. Yeah, hopefully eventually when I'm less busy, I will be able to do that. I wrote another book called Protecting Yourself Against False Accusations, and that was like an adult book. And that's also available on Amazon. So I've published 3 books.
Okay, so and also in my introduction, you've written a lot for different magazines.
Right.
So that's how people will find, and those are what are those articles? How long are those usually?
Those articles are other people wrote them, that they'll interview me about my family law practice.
Oh,
and I have submitted some expert opinions to articles like Money magazine because they want to know about money during a divorce or something like that. Wall Street Journal.
Yeah, Wall Street Journal, New York Times. So would you like to share some of your story with us for each of the books?
Sure.
Well, that would be wonderful.
So I'm going to read it. I don't want to cover up my face. I'm actually going to read it from the computer.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
Okay. So it says dedication. This is to all the children and parents who have more than one home. You are not alone in your journey. 2 adventures, one with mom and one with dad. Twice as much excitement to be had. Things are going to change, but remember that it's for the best. No matter what happens, mom and dad will love you more than the rest. But mom and dad need to go their separate ways and have their own adventures now. We promise to take you with us. It will be twice as much fun, and we'll show you how. Mom and dad are still best friends and want the best for you. We will always be one family, even if we live in one house or 2. Sometimes we may fight. Remember, no one is perfect all the time, but no matter how much we argue, we will always be one family, bonded for all time. It is okay to feel sad sometimes, no reason why. We may have moments of weakness and sometimes even cry. The most important thing in our lives is you. We would not change anything about our adventure together as mom and dad because it brought us you. Please know that none of this is your fault. None of this is anybody's fault. It is just something that happens. Moms and dads can drift apart sometimes. Did you know that birds have two different homes? It's called bird nesting. That's exactly what we're doing here. Two homes for one family. Instead of having one place in which you will be safe and happy, you will now have two. You will have two different homes with two different bedrooms and two different sets of adventures. But know that you will always have one shared love from us both. And you know what that means? Two sets of Christmas presents. You will never have to choose between us. It will always be mom and dad, never mom or dad. We promise you that. Mom might take you to the park one weekend, and then dad might take you shopping. Mom might play games with you, and then dad might bake cakes. Just because you spend more time with one of us than the other, that does not mean that one loves you more than the other. We both adore you more than anything in the world. Even when you are with dad, mom's love will still be there with you. And when dad is not around, his love will still be there watching over you. No matter where we are in the world, our love will always be there. When you are older, you will understand what we mean. For now, just know that we will always be here when you need us. Parents are not perfect, but our love for you is perfect. Two adventures, one with mom and one with dad. Twice as much excitement to be had.
Thank you
Then,
very
oh, thank you. I have this epilogue at the end. Do you want me to read it?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so it's from a judge, an actual judge. 200 words from retired family law judge Michael Haas. Okay, this is what he says. Your children have come into this world because of the two of you. Perhaps you two made lousy choices as to whom you decided to be the other parent. If so, that is your problem and your fault. No matter what you think of the other party or what your family thinks of the other party, these children are one half of each of you. Remember that, because every time you tell your child what an idiot his father is, or what a fool his mother is, or how bad the absent parent is, or what terrible things that person has done, you are telling the child half of him is bad. That is an unforgivable thing to do to a child. That is not love, that is possession. If you do that to your children, you will destroy them as surely as if you had cut them into pieces, because that is what you are doing to their emotions. I sincerely hope that you do not do that to your children. Think more about your children and less about yourselves, and make yours a selfless kind of love, not foolish or selfish, or your children will suffer.
Well, that's a very good thing from the judge. Very, very
Yeah,
good.
he was a very good judge.
Right. So it's not in the paperback copy I have. Is it in?
Oh, it's not?
I don't think so. Let me look. I don't think there's an epilogue in here.
Maybe it's in the prologue.
It's about the author, and about the illustrator. And then we actually, it's a dedication. And then we, absolutely right. I missed it. I'm sorry. 200 words from retired family judge Michael Haas, 1994. Perfect. It's very nice. It's written like in a poem format. Very important. Very important. I'm sorry that I just immediately went to reading the story.
No worries.
Very, very, very important for everyone. So do you want to tell us all about Hope's Broken Snow Globe?
Sure. Let me see if I can change my little.
Is there a dedication in there too?
That one.
There's a dedication in there as well.
Yes, that one has a dedication.
And this dedication must be from you, and then you have something from Philippians as well.
Oh, yes.
And so you said that now this is the same illustrator as well?
Yes.
Yes, it's still Tanya Campbell, and the graphics in this book are brighter. The other one is softer.
Yep.
Format. So maybe the holidays have brighter colors. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah, that one. That one I had a dedication. I said, there's a special place in my heart for the children of divorce. Because I do not get the opportunity to work with them, I write books for them. To every child who has had more than one home, this book is for you. And then one of my favorite scriptures, do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. So this one takes place at Christmas time.
Excuse me.
Bless you. Do you want me to read it?
Yes, I do. Please, please.
Okay.
I think everybody would enjoy hearing it. Thank you very much for doing that for us.
I just want to say this. I really love this book. Quite honestly, this book did not do well. My first book sold hundreds of copies, maybe thousands. This book, not so much. And I don't know if it's because I didn't do as much marketing because it was Christmas time and it was very busy. But I think the thing about books is you never know, but I still have a lot of hope that Hope's Broken Snow Globe will one day be like more famous than The Night Before Christmas. So that's my hope. But here we go. Thanksgiving was over, but Hope could still smell the pumpkin pie in her house. Very soon, there will be the new scent of pine needles in the air, the smell of a Christmas tree. First, though, it was time to get the decorations from out of the garage. Hope's dad came indoors with a big cardboard box stuffed with glass ornaments, fairy lights, and glittering tinsel that tumbled over the sides. Hope was so excited to get the house ready for Christmas. However, as they started to remove the decorations, she felt her excitement change into a different feeling. Hope picked out 3 matching Christmas stockings. The names sewn into them were Dad, Hope, and Mom. Hope felt really sad. She didn't know if Mom would be at home for Christmas. As Dad left in his truck to pick up the tree, Hope reached the bottom of the cardboard box where a smaller box was covered in bubble wrap. Inside was a collection of snow globes. There in the center was a single broken globe. This one no longer sparkled, its cracked glass held together by Scotch tape. As soon as Hope saw it, she felt incredibly guilty. As she stared at the shattered glass, Hope remembered last Christmas. She could still see the pieces of the snow globe after it smashed on the kitchen floor. She could still feel her wet feet as the glittering water spread across the tiles. She could still hear Mom and Dad shouting in the bedroom upstairs. Hope couldn't remember if the arguing happened before she dropped the ornament or after. But what she did remember was, not long after the snow globe broke, her dad moved out. Not long after that, Mom and Dad told her they were going to stop living together. A week or so later, as Hope looked at the decorated tree, her eyes filled with tears again as she remembered last Christmas. If she hadn't broken the snow globe, maybe her parents wouldn't have gotten divorced. Hope had an idea. If she could fix the snow globe, maybe it would bring them back together. Maybe Mom would come home for Christmas after all. Excitedly but quietly, Hope snuck out of the house, carefully holding the shattered globe in a small box. She walked briskly over the snowy ground towards the hardware store around the corner. At the hardware store, old Nick, the carpenter, peered at the snow globe through his little round glasses. "I'm sorry," he said, "but there are just too many cracks to repair it. I can't make it the same as it was before, but I could make you something new with the pieces. Would you like that?" Hope felt a bit annoyed and confused. "No," she replied. "I need to bring my mom and dad back together. I don't want the snow globe to be different. It has to be the same. It must be perfect." Old Nick stroked his bushy white beard. "If you're looking for something perfect," he said, "you better go to the superstore." Hope walked a little quicker as she headed to the superstore, nearly stumbling on the slippery ground. She couldn't be gone too long or her dad would return and notice she was missing. At the superstore, a smiling lady listened to Hope's story. "That's lovely, sweetie," she said. "I'm sure we can help you out, no problem." She showed Hope to an aisle where hundreds of snow globes rose from floor to ceiling. "Here you are, honey," said the smiling lady. "I'm sure these are much bigger and better than what you had before." Hope rushed out of the superstore with a frown. The smiling lady hadn't listened to her at all. Why had the old carpenter sent her there? Now it was getting dark and she would have to run. Her dad would surely be angry with her when she got home. Dashing along the snowy sidewalk, Hope sped across the corner of her street. As she rushed up her driveway, Hope skidded and the box flew from her hands into the air. Hope heard a smash as the box hit the ground. She was too scared to open it. She crept back into the warm house, which smelt of gingerbread. Luckily, Dad was busy making Christmas cookies in the kitchen. He hadn't noticed Hope was gone. In the safety of her bedroom, Hope nervously opened the box. The snow globe was still held together by the tape, but now it had so many cracks it looked like the glass was covered by a spider's web. It was hopeless. No one could mend the globe now. She would have to hide it. As she looked sadly into the shattered glass, Hope saw a reflection of the cross which hung on her bedroom wall. Quietly, she kneeled by the bed. "If you're listening, God," she prayed, "I need your help. I know you are super busy, but I really want Mom and Dad to be together again by Christmas. Please help me if you can." Later that evening, when Hope's dad came upstairs to tuck her in, he noticed the little box hidden underneath her bed. As soon as he saw the snow globe inside, Dad remembered what happened last Christmas. He remembered arguing upstairs with Hope's mom. He remembered hearing the sound of smashing from the kitchen below. He remembered how upset Hope had been about the broken globe. Dad knew how to make this Christmas much happier for Hope. He would get the snow globe fixed. The next weekend, Dad took the box to Old Nick's hardware store. The bearded carpenter examined the ornament inside. "Oh dear," sighed Old Nick. "This is even more broken than before." "Wait, you've seen it before?" asked Dad, surprised. "Yes," said Nick. "And as I told your daughter, I can't make it the same as it was, but I could make something new. As for the rest of her wish, that part is up to you." Dad was confused. What did he mean about her wish? Suddenly, Dad understood. He remembered last Christmas again. After hearing the smash, he ran downstairs with Hope's mom. He remembered how worried they had both been, how much they both cared about their daughter. "Thanks, Nick," said Dad to the old carpenter. "I know what I need to do now." As he left the store, Dad took out his cell phone and placed a call. It was Christmas morning. Hope awoke early. Had her prayers been answered? She raced downstairs where Dad was already waiting for her. There, underneath the tree, was a small box. Hope tore open the wrapping paper. Inside the box was a piece of paper. The words on the paper read, "Please go to the front door." Hope ran to the door and pulled it open. Waiting outside was Mom. She was holding a new snow globe. Hope was still smiling as she enjoyed a turkey dinner with Mom and Dad. "I'm so glad you rang," Mom said to Dad. "I cried at the thought of spending our first Christmas alone." Then she held Hope's hand. "And I'm so glad that I can spend it with you." Hope stared into the swirling globe, which perched proudly at the center of the dinner table. It wasn't exactly the same as it was before, but maybe something new would be okay. Though things might be different in the future, Hope knew her prayers had been answered.
Thank you. That's a beautiful story. Beautiful. And the illustrations are just lovely. Very, very colorful. This is the last picture of the family there together enjoying Christmas. And Hope understands that things will change, but they will still be good together. So it was a beautiful, beautiful story. Thank you very, very much. Thank you. So I'm sure children that read these stories that want some type of hope and comfort during this sad time will find some hope and comfort from your books. So I thank you very much for taking the time and all the effort and learning everything about publishing and distributing and finding a wonderful graphic designer and an illustrator. So thank you very, very much for doing that and for sharing all of that with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
So we were very delighted that you shared with Pasadena Public Library's members this Authors and Their Journey series. And we wish you lots and lots of luck, Kelly, in all your new endeavors. And we'll look forward to hearing about the other books that you are publishing. And if you are going to start a series, because I know you'll tell us about that at another time.
Yes.
So thank you so much, Kelly. And we thank everybody that's listened today. Remember that you can re-see the program today on YouTube Pasadena Library. And if you want to have an opportunity to meet Kelly in person, please go to Barnes and Noble at the Grove. Was it Saturday or Sunday?
I think it's Saturday.
It's Saturday,
really
but you can
I don't know when
look on Kelly's social media page and find out actually the date. And if you don't know the address for the Grove, that will be there as well. But the book is also available at Pasadena Public Library. Thanks very much to the donation provided by Kelly. And it is also available for purchase at Roman's Bookstore, Pasadena. So thank you very much. We'll look forward to welcoming you another time.
Thank you for having me, Christine. And thanks for the listeners out there.
Thank you very much. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Bye.